Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you may be in the world. And thank you for joining us here on Gift of Healing TV. I'm Sarah Jane, your hostess. And this week, we have got two guests. I am delighted to welcome them both back because they've been with us before. But we are going to share this week about ME, or chronic fatigue syndrome. So some of you may know it as ME, some of you may know it as chronic fatigue syndrome, some of you may know it as other names, and let's just hope you know what we're talking about. I'm going to start by introducing our guests, and actually the page I've got up in front of me is Vanessa, so we'll start with Vanessa Honeybourne. Vanessa first experienced homeopathy in 1990 when she was suffering with many health issues and had been offered little help and support from the local GP. Her mother had heard on Radio 4 about the benefits of homeopathy and suggested she tried it, which she did and has never looked back. So keen to discover how this medicine worked, Vanessa trained at the Practical College of Homeopathy in London. At the time, she worked in a large perfumery department in a well-known store and had many colleagues who were willing volunteers. Amazingly, everyone she was helping was either getting better or improving, and her passion for treating patients was born. Vanessa qualified in 1997 and worked with 2 Indian doctors in East London and at Neal's Yard, Covent Garden, where she gained a wealth of knowledge. In 2000, she moved to Bournemouth and continued to practice homeopathy in a doctor's surgery in Poole and a charity-based clinic in Southbourne. Vanessa is currently based in Ferndown and lives there with her husband, teenage daughter, and a hamster called Diggy. Vanessa, welcome to the programme.
Good evening and good day. Welcome to everyone.
And we've lost your video again, Vanessa. So let's cross it comes back.
Okay.
We seem to have got you. So brilliant. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have had a little bit of fun this evening on the run-up to this of videos not working and mic's not working, but we're keeping our fingers crossed everything's fine for the programme. So I would also like to welcome Jennifer Barnes-Hill. Jennifer Barnes-Hill is a university therapy lecturer and founder of JBH Training, which is a training academy for those who wish to become therapists. Based in rural Worcestershire, they also offer holistic treatments and events. Jennifer is interested in all aspects of health and well-being, but is particularly fascinated by touch therapies. She loves the amazing way in which the body works, the reactions and feedback she receives from clients, and the enthusiasm of her students. She has grown up with complementary health therapies. Her mum always used essential oils and holistic therapies in the home from when she was a baby. Jennifer has always been fascinated by the way the body works, which led her to study various diplomas and a degree in complementary medicine. She then followed the family tradition and became a teacher. Jennifer also runs Worcester Business Mums Network, Worcestershire Therapists Support Network, and delivers skincare masterclasses with ladies with cancer through a charity. Jennifer, welcome.
Hello, Sarah. Thank you very much for having us again. It's great to see you.
And it's an absolute pleasure to have you both back. It really is. Okay, I've got a couple of... Mandy just said hello, and I'm assuming the fact that you've written something in there, or you both have, saying hello. So it's brilliant to have you here, Mandy. I know there's more people there. Folks, if you are affected by this, or you know someone who is, or you have experienced it in the past, please share the symptoms, the effect it had on you, and please feel free to ask questions, because as much as I can sit here and ask some questions of our guests, I know that I was possibly affected by it myself several years ago, and I know that my symptoms were, yes, fatigue. There's no two ways about it. Get up in the morning, get dressed, and I'd have to sit down. I just hadn't got the energy to get on with the next bit of getting breakfast. And it was this constant thing throughout the day of sort of doing something and then sitting down again. Mine started with that feeling of, actually, if I don't sit down, I'm going to fall down. And I remember one day I tried to keep going out for a walk and fresh air. And I remember one day walking on a local heathland and thinking, I don't know how I'm going to get home. No seats, nothing, nowhere to sit, no one to speak to. And I didn't know how to put one foot in front of the other. And so I can really, if somebody says they're affected by this, I am not going to doubt anybody. I know how I felt. I know how it affected me, and I know how scary that was. So please, do share, because obviously we're here for you. This is what this is about, us being here for you. What I'm going to ask my guests to do is just share a little bit, sort of whether they've got a story, something about the people that they've worked with this, so that then they aren't just somebody I've picked out of a hat. Both these ladies have and do work with people with ME, chronic fatigue syndrome. So I'm going to come to Jennifer first. Jennifer, do you want to share just a little, just a little of the work you've done?
Yes, of course. Well, the clients that I've seen them, some of them, before they've had a diagnosis, and they've maybe presumed that it was general tiredness, the stresses and strains of life. For example, the insomnia or the headaches, some joint and muscle stiffness that they may be attributed to doing sport. However, then those people have gone to gain a diagnosis and have continued using complementary therapies throughout that for particular symptoms, because everybody, I find, is very different, and some people have a very mild form and some people have a more severe form. I've also worked with some clients and actually had some students train with me who have had a diagnosis and have been living with the ME or CFS. So they have been managing it alongside their everyday life, so trying to put in place small coping strategies and taking on board things like good nutrition, having maybe a regular massage or reflexology, whichever therapies they would maybe access before they had a diagnosis. They were continuing to have those treatments as a maintenance, but also incorporating the various symptoms that they had at the time. So I've kind of seen it from both angles, really, and it is a complex condition affecting people in very different ways, and also the medical profession doesn't know particularly what definitely causes it. It can have quite a few different causes, so I find that it can be quite confusing for people. So having an awareness of their own coping strategies and things that affect them in an individual way, that's helped them to move forward.
Brilliant, thank you. And Vanessa?
Over the years of 20 years practice, majority of people with the kind of symptoms you're talking about are youngsters. I have got a small client base that are post 55, but it seems to attack or seems to appear in the younger, late teens, early 20s. And it seems like they've come to the end of their studies, they've come to the end of their school life and university life, and then suddenly the body crashes. And in that time, a lot of them have overworked, overstudied, haven't really had a chance to step back, reflect, and go out and enjoy life so much. And then suddenly their physical body just goes into collapse. And a majority of the common thread with the youngsters is that they've never been well since glandular fever. So that is something that with homeopathy we work very much alongside their medical history and hopefully move them forward from that point. But as Jennifer said, there are so many symptoms and so many general causes that the beauty of using homeopathy is that we are treating everybody as an individual, and there are hundreds of remedies that would fit many different pictures of that kind of chronic fatigue or ME symptoms. So the elder bracket of chronic fatigue type symptoms, I find, is much more emotional related, and it's like built up over layer of more emotional issues that have either not been dealt with or they haven't had time to deal with them, and so they just bank up more and more emotional stresses to the point where the body said, I just can't take any more. And often those kind of patients have been caring for other people, so they've always been giving out or doing other things for other people, and then suddenly their own body goes, oh no, I can't do it anymore. And they work much better with our grief type remedies, our emotional support remedies. But Jennifer's quite right, we like to use a whole mixture, a whole range of different complementary therapies and integrate it within whatever the medical profession offers.
No, brilliant. But thank you, both of you. And I sort of, obviously, for those of you that are watching and watch the replay, I hope that sort of that makes sense. I know that Vanessa's video is freezing, but I hope you can still hear her, and that's the most important thing. But we have got a comment from Mandy here, and thank you, Mandy, for sharing. I really appreciate this. I have suffered with ME and fibro for many years, diagnosed for the last 10 years. Biggest help I have found was coming to the realization that it is not up to anyone else to help me, but down to myself and my own mindset. I have used positive thinking, law of attraction, EFT, and more recently Reiki. And I'm going to comment in there because it is, to me, there's an element, yes, there is for everyone, there's an element of mindset. But I think by working with homeopaths, by working with people for diet and nutrition, by working with different, whether it's a particular massage therapy, whether it's a Reiki session, whatever it is, by taking that control for yourself of what am I going to do to help and support me, I think that is the important thing. And so I'm with you 100%, Mandy. And you said you're using positive thinking, law of attraction, EFT, Reiki, and all of these things, reflexology, all of these things fall into that. What can I do to help myself? None of us, I think, I know I certainly wasn't looking for what other people could do for me. It was, what can I do to help myself? Because the doctors, as you've said, they just don't know. But we were talking before that it is still essential. It is still essential to go to the doctor because there are other conditions that can resemble ME, chronic fatigue syndrome. And you know, it's all very well thinking, oh, maybe that's what I've got. Well, one, if you're working, you need to get signed off, so you've got to go to the doctor, but do make sure you receive tests, etc. That's really, really important. Mandy's passed another comment here. I am that impressed with the results from this. I have become a happiness and well-being coach within the Sue Stone Foundation. Sue's been on the program. I am about to qualify as an EFT practitioner and just started my Reiki. I also looked at my diet and adopted the paleo diet, which has also helped. And it's everybody's got to find what's right for them. So let me come back to Vanessa first this time. And with the comments that Mandy has made and the comments that I've made, let's take it another step, whether it's any particular conditions, anything, any effects that people have.
Well, one of the conditions that I would seriously look at is if anybody's had a tick bite in the last 6 months of the onset of the symptoms starting, because the tick bite actually then can produce the Lyme's disease, which almost has the parallel symptoms of ME and chronic fatigue. So that is not saying that there's any other real treatment, but it's nice to know perhaps where the etiology, where it all started from, if you can't track it back. Sometimes you worry where it's come from in the first place, or why me. So sometimes there's a very, very good reason why it's there. Not just saying that it can be an emotional issue. But coming back onto the diet, I like the idea of that diet, and many people use the anti-candida diet. So taking out all the unrefined, all the refined sugars and too much fat in the diet, etc. So that's something, the anti-candida diet, there's plenty on the websites that they can pull off menu sheets, and that really has helped many of my patients.
Brilliant, brilliant, thank you. Jennifer?
Well, I think that a lot of different causes can be attributed to CFS. As Vanessa said, it can be from something like a viral infection such as glandular fever, and an emotional disturbance perhaps in childhood. Also, because a lot of clients that I've seen are between the ages of 20 and 40, perhaps they're at childbearing age, they've maybe been through pregnancy, or they've maybe attributed some of the symptoms to bringing up small children, such as tiredness, dizziness, and so on. But also, you know, it can be a hormonal balance, issues with stress, issues with the immune system, and also genetics as well. It can be a hereditary condition. So I think with these cases, a lot of the things that would cause stress, those sorts of symptoms, do present.
Brilliant, brilliant, thank you. Forgive me, folks, it looks like somebody's put their hand up, and I'm not quite sure how this works. So will you just, right, okay. Now, we have a request, and I don't know how this works, and it's Maureen, and I'm going to say that I bet I know who Maureen is, because it's my mum. But she has been affected by this. So, invite a speaker. Okay, so how do I do this? This is a brand new one on me, folks. So, let's see.
If you go to
okay, converting attendee into presenter. So, Maureen stroke mum. I think you might be coming on live, and I knew that she was going to be watching. But oh, it seems to have gone. I don't know what's happening here. So, right. I don't know how this works. It might be that what you've actually received is a new email, and that you have to go into that to come in. I have no idea. So if you can come on, great. Otherwise, can you just put in a note, please? Just type it in. There's a box to type in. And I am going to have to fathom out how that side of things works. So I apologise, folks, but if she does get to join us, that would be wonderful. But as I said, Maureen is my mum. She did have ME, as it was very much called when she had it, and she definitely got over it. She's also a qualified nurse, retired now, long retired, but a qualified nurse. One of the things that she commented, it was her that commented to me about keep it in a steady routine. You know, get up at a sensible time, have your breakfast, have a meal at lunchtime, eat properly, and we're talking about the diet. So if we can't get her on live, which would be a bit of a shame, but you know, this isn't meant to be a family program. It's only purely because she's affected by it, and I know that she could share insights. And it was her that told me about the vitamins D and E. So for now, let's come back to Vanessa, because it's not just homeopathy. It's because you work with vitamins and minerals and sometimes herbal bits and pieces, don't you, as well? Is there anything that you can recommend, or not recommend, but suggest people maybe try that could be something that is missing from the diet?
Yeah. Yes, of course. I would definitely take a magnesium supplement, because obviously that fatigue in the joints and just in the whole nervous system, magnesium is a great remedy to sort of bring in energy as well. I spoke to a cardiologist who actually said people need to add more salt into their diet. Believe it or not, amazingly, a little bit more salt, because they need a potassium and salt balance. And often they have taken the salt out of their diet to help their heart, but it's not helping everything else. But you need to buy, you know, a good sea salt, not just any old table salt. Vitamin B6 is another thing, and generally adding into the diet things like grapes, millet, wheat germ, oats, buckwheat, molasses. Another really good supplement is the CoQ10, because it delivers energy into the nucleus of every cell. So if energy is depleted, it really is something you can add in without affecting any other medication from the doctor as well. And I was reading recently about Michael Van Stratton's superfoods. And of course, we don't think about all the greens, like the watercresses, you know, all the green smoothies that we can make and buy, so that they're really useful. But like you said, a lot of research has been done on chronic fatigue and ME, and the common thread for diet is nobody eats breakfast. So if they don't do a whole meal every day, breakfast is the thing to have back in. And of course, just buying a good multivitamin and a mineral. I prefer to look at the mineral content, the vitamin content, because you're generally eating your fruit and vegetables. But the minerals, the soils are so depleted of natural minerals. Buy a really good, decent multi-mineral, and of course your vitamin A and D, perfect. So get that in as well.
Brilliant. Thank you. Brilliant. Thank you for that. Now, you called something a something 10, and you broke up as you said it. So what was it?
It's CoQ10. It's what is delivered in the body. It's an enzyme in the body that actually gives energy to every nucleus of the cell. So, of course, if it's doing that, it will give energy throughout the whole body. And it's particularly good if you're unfortunate to be on any medication from the doctor that can deplete energy. I'm thinking of things like statins. The CoQ10 is a brilliant enzyme to add back in. And you can buy that in any good health food store.
Okay, brilliant. We seem to have lost your voice. Oh no, maybe it's your video catching up with your voice.
Okay.
Vanessa, what we have got here is Joe has put, will you be able to post the list of supplements that Vanessa is recommending, please? So what I'm going to ask is, will you please write that out for me? Let's have that. I will post it on our Facebook page. So Get Healing TV has a Facebook page. So please do go there, and we will post that up on there. Okay. And Mandy says, I was deficient in magnesium, B6, iron, and vitamin D, and still take them now. And personally, I'm going to say the vitamin D, our best way of getting D, as far as I'm aware, is go out in the sunshine. And of course, when you are feeling that tired, if you're feeling you can't put one foot in front of the other, the one thing you are not doing is going out and getting the natural vitamin D. And so, yes, whereas when I was working, I'd go for a walk every lunchtime, and suddenly I hadn't got the energy, and I was scared to go out. So yeah, having a supplement of D if you've been used to getting it naturally. So Jennifer, have you got anything that you can suggest, anything, whether there's a specific or whether there's as a general?
Yes, well, with the clients that I've worked with, they found it useful maybe to keep a reflective diary or a journal of some description to identify which stressful situations or perhaps which food intolerances perhaps are causing IBS type symptoms, that kind of issue. And they've maybe identified a food intolerance or identified even a time of the day which is more stressful for them, and working out how to manage that into small steps. So I think, as Vanessa said, having a balanced diet, gaining all the different coloured fruit and veg is a really good start point, as with anybody's diet. But also reduction in things like alcohol, caffeine, sweeteners, and any of those foods that they've become sensitive to throughout the day. People found that really beneficial. And then on more of the physical front, where you were just talking about getting outside into the sunshine, that's also an excellent idea, because one thing that you can access in the UK is graded exercise therapy, which basically involves really low intensity exercise such as walking, swimming and other activities that just raise the heart rate a little bit, and pacing those out through the day, through the week, at times that you feel that you can manage that, alongside having short rest periods rather than huge long naps and sleeps throughout the day, which can then disturb the sleep in the evening. Those sorts of strategies have worked very well.
Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you very much. Maureen, you may need to go to your email address, because I know you put your hand up again, and it's saying converting to presenter. What my presenters have to do is they go to their emails, and they should have received, and I don't know whether I'm meant to do this, that hopefully you will have received, and I am actually going to look and see whether you've been put in an email saying join the program, and then there's a login to it. So what I'm going to do is, Sara, so welcome Sara, lovely to have you with us. I have had CFS for 10 years now, recently started taking multivitamins last year and found they have helped a little, especially as I too was D deficient, as I was unable to leave my house regularly. So it's 10 years, so obviously you haven't said what age you are, Sara, but yeah, I mean, I know that I think I'm right in thinking that Claire Francis, one of our sailors many years ago, wasn't she affected by this, and she wrote a book about it. So folks, you aren't alone. There are many people who are affected by this, and I'm deliberately using the word affected because I think suffer is and I'm not belittling that, but suffer is quite negative, and it is keeping positive. And as it was Mandy that said, it is keeping a much more positive. You can get over it. It is possible to get over it. It is possible to go back to leading a normal life, and there's no two ways about it. I did, so sort of, and Jennifer, Beth, I'll let you say this rather than reading this out, because you've just put a note up there, Jennifer. Jennifer.
Sorry, I couldn't wait. I was typing away.
Please show.
Yeah, I was just going to say that because we just had a little discussion around vitamin D and light and things, you can actually use the light boxes within the house, which suffer of SAD use. So that might be of benefit if somebody cannot get out of the house because they're housebound with the fatigue.
And Vanessa, have you got any comments to make?
Yes, actually, when I had the health food shop, and I had quite a few regular customers buying supplements for their chronic fatigue, they weren't necessarily homeopathic patients at the time. They went on a course. I don't know if you've heard about the lightning therapy. and if you just type in lighteningtherapy.com, it will bring up, and it's actually quite locally based to us down in Dorset in the UK. But 3 or 4 of the patients that went and tried it found it's all about talking about all these positive affirmations, positive thought processes, putting your life in a regular balance. So it's all the things we've been talking about tonight, but I think it's on a program that is set out that you do this program religiously to the end of it, and then you can refer back to this program at any time. So if anyone out there has actually tried it and wants to share that, that would be great, because it's something I've never done myself, but a lot of clients and patients have mentioned it in the past.
Brilliant, and it is something else for people to look at. Now, we've got Love Day, welcome, and you've put, can you offer advice for someone with CFS and fibromyalgia? Had CFS for 30 years and FM for 10, tried a vast number of approaches, and you've also put here, oh, you have a Brightbox light box, get a top quality product. Many that claim to be for SAD are not providing the right spectrum, and we did do a program on SAD back earlier this year, and my youngest sister is affected by SAD, and she came on the program and she shared that about a particular, I think she might have actually named the one she'd got, but you're obviously with everything, you've got to make sure that you've got a proper product and not just something that oh, let's jump on the bandwagon type thing. So yeah, go and read the details about it, but it may be worth going back to our SAD program if you've got issues and you're thinking about the light boxes. So please think about going back to that program, and you can find that on it's on the website, and it's a YouTube video, so if you want to, you can skip through bits of it. Okay, Sarah said, I'm 18 years old, diagnosed back when I was 8. I'm definitely keep Jennifer's Lightbox idea in mind. And Sarah, yeah, do think about going back to the SAD one as well. That's because that may be beneficial. Love Day says, I did the lightning process. It has had very positive results. I did it. It is about rewiring the neural pathways. Mandy, the lightning program is things dropped. It's very expensive though. Jennifer, you've been putting some notes in, so I'm going to come to you. And Love Day, totally read the light boxes. So Jennifer, I'll come back to you.
Yeah, some of the ladies were commenting about having both fibromyalgia and CFS, and it's interesting that the prevalence is in females, younger females than males, even though it can occur with the male population as well. And I was just thinking that it may be useful, if people haven't already, to access some of the local charities and local support groups. A lot of them are national charities, but they do have, you can either attend, they run groups where you can meet other people, go to activities such as Zumba Gold, which is a low intensity fitness. And also, if you are housebound, you could then access online forums. And in these forums, people are not necessarily medically trained with extensive knowledge, but they have had a shared experience similar to your own and may have hints and tips that they can share with you. Or even if you just feel like saying, you know, hey, this is how I feel today, you know, that there's somebody else at the end of the forum, which if you are housebound and not socialising or communicating with a lot of people, that can be a real lifeline.
Brilliant, brilliant. No, thank you for that. Folks, have you got any more questions for us, please? You know, we've got a little bit of time left, and I think it is important that you ask the questions, you sort of share the comments, because we're here for you, and your questions, don't feel oh, I've got a question, but is it a silly question? It's not. If you would like to ask it, there's somebody else out there, whether they're watching the replay, the YouTube video 10 years down the line, there's going to be somebody else who wants to know the answer as well. Although I'd like to think in 10 years' time they might have found, when I say a cure, at least a reason so that they can work with it more sensibly than they do at the moment, rather than leaving it more to natural. Although I think, I don't know about everybody else out there, I'm actually a great believer in do everything as naturally as possible. The more we can do naturally. And folks, Vanessa is going to be coming on in a few weeks' time and is going to share much more about homeopathy. So if you're not sure about homeopathy, how it works, etc., we are going to be sharing that. And for those of you that that aren't sure about the massage side of things, Jennifer shared with us about massage again earlier this year. Go and find the video, watch it, you know, because there's a lot out there to help people, and you can really help yourself in a much more positive way. And don't get me wrong, if you are really not feeling well and there is you may need blood tests, etc., go to the doctor. None of us are saying don't go to a doctor. We are saying go to a doctor, but we're saying there are other things that can support you as well. Okay, so Love Day, and I'm loving this. I'm grateful that you are sort of you're contributing to this. I'm a member of North Dorset ME. They are so good. Being too tired to go to the meetups. Fair enough. I'm taking ionic magnesium, but suspect it makes me feel sleepy. So today I'm going to take later in the day, evening, rather than morning. Okay, so you've mentioned a specific, and I know that you've had your health food shop, Vanessa. The magnesium side of things, what would is there one that you would suggest?
Well, any good brand leader will make a good quality. So in America, you've got Solgar is a really good brand. Here in the UK, we have Lambert's, Quest. Those are the type of brands. So, you know, most people in the health food shops are qualified enough to explain what kind of potency strengths you need. But I would say you're looking about 200 milligrams a day, minimum. So that would be my uptake on the magnesium. And those kind of brand leaders, it's no good buying a cheap brand because they won't have the quality and the strength that you need it in. So those are the brand leaders I mean, there are other good brand leaders, of course, but those are some of the best, definitely.
Brilliant.
And going on about self-help as well, and all the things that you can do, but Jennifer's already suggested some really great ideas. A lot of my clients and patients use Tai Chi, Qigong, anything that's got some kind of breathing aspect to it as well, so that they actually can breathe through some of these fatigue symptoms. Acupuncture is another good therapy that has proven successes with increasing energy. So those are a couple of other self-help ideas.
Brilliant, brilliant. Jennifer, you've been commenting to Loveday's questions about blood tests. So why don't you just share it with everybody? Because the people watching the video, they are not going to see the questions and answers.
Just asking about when we mentioned blood tests and other tests that a GP or doctor might do. A lot of the time they will do general tests to perhaps eliminate other issues. So, for example, from a general blood test, you may be able to identify that somebody is in fact anemic, which is making them feel tired and so forth, and then they would maybe address that with iron. Or they may also do other tests for hormone imbalances, urine tests, other general tests to eliminate other conditions.
Brilliant. And I think that's just it, isn't it? Even if even if they come back and just say, well, we know what it isn't, but at least you're being told what it's not. And you can eliminate, they can eliminate a number of different things. Loveday's put, I agree with gentle exercise, just joined a small circle dance class, very gentle movement, and I sit down when I need to. And I think that's what everybody's got to realize is, if you're suddenly feeling you've got a bit of energy, don't overdo it. I know I did. Oh, I feel great this morning. And I would overdo it and I would exhaust myself. And there is really no point in overdoing. You've got to let yourself get better in your own time. And I think we're all very good, regardless of what the condition is we have. We're all very good at, oh, feeling best. I'm feeling better today. I'll go out and do something. And it's just like, you can't. We learn. That's not the best way to do it. I know one of the things that I did, because I had 2 months at home, and so I was very lucky. I had it very mildly, and as I said, they wouldn't actually diagnose it. I spent a lot of that 2 months doing jigsaw puzzles, so I was keeping my brain active. And we've talked very much about physical activity, and I actually think it was at a time I didn't have a television, because I had 4 years of no television. So obviously there was definitely finding other things to do. And I don't know, I think doing the jigsaw puzzles was something that helped to keep my brain active. It helped in some ways to keep me awake. But if I did feel exhausted, I went and sat down, or I laid on the couch and I let myself rest. And I think with everybody, you've got to find what works for you, but I also think you've got to, without overdoing it, push yourself a little into doing things that are going to help you to get better. So if you've not tried something like the vitamins and minerals, or going to a homeopath, or going and having a massage or reflexology, what we would all say, and I'm sure Vanessa would agree, and I'm sure Jennifer would agree here, if you're going to go to somebody and you've never been to them before, ask them questions. Don't worry about asking questions. Ask to see their certificates. They should be doing a consultation form with you. Homeopaths, there's a long consultation that goes with that, because they have to find out about you. Everybody has to find out about you. You must be honest about what you're experiencing, etc. The qualified people know what they can do with you, what they can't do with you. So please don't be afraid, if you're going to a new practitioner of anything you've never been to before, that you don't know. Ask them questions. So please do that. Now, we've got from Mandy, after all the work I have done on myself, I am still in constant pain, so I have to take medication every day. I exercise daily, and the more I do, the more pain I get. Any ideas on a natural pain relief other than EFT, Reiki, massage, etc.? And I'm going to read Sarah's as well, and I'm going to come to both of you for an answer. And actually, they were coming to the end of the program. I was forever doing that, feeling better, overdoing it, then feeling worse. My parents called in the boom and bust cycle. Yeah, absolutely. I've learned to do more cautious when it comes to spending whatever precious energy I've got at the time. Absolutely. So, bearing in mind the comments from Mandy about pain, and Sarah about the boom and bust, and Karen from our friend from France, welcome. I have developed a way to overcome fatigue through change in diet. This has worked extremely well for my patients. So brilliant. So comments, please. Jennifer, let's come to you first.
Yes, regarding the pain management management, it's a very large area, including the physical and the psychological. Clients that I've seen have helped by relaxation, meditation, guided visualization, which they can do themselves, perhaps from online video or tape recordings, and also going to see practitioners such as hypnotherapists who can help with pain management. Also in the UK, the NHS has quite extensive pain management programs, and they may include some physiotherapy, hydrotherapy, stretching and gentle exercise.
Okay, that's brilliant. Okay, brilliant. And actually, Karen is not the one from France, so we've got a new Karen spelt that way. So welcome, Karen. Welcome to the program, and thank you for sharing. Vanessa.
Well, I can give you some specific homeopathic remedies that I would recommend for pain, and the first one is a tissue salt called Mag-Phos. Funny enough, it's another magnesium, and you can order that from Helios or Galen Pharmacy in Dorchester. They're quite happy to sell to the public. You just ring up and make an order for a small bottle of them and try them. And with the Mag-Phos tissue salt, so they're a low potency, you put them in a little bit of warm water and stir it and sip it. And it is fantastic for general pain relief. But if anyone is going to do any exercise with any pain behind it first, always take a straightforward arnica 30, before you even embark on any exercise. And that includes just a bit of gardening, because that takes a lot of stress and strain when you're, in these symptoms. So that would be my first two top choice remedies for pain. So the tissue salts, Mag-Phos, and of course arnica before you start anything.
Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you so much, ladies. Karen's in the USA, so welcome. Thank you for joining us from the USA. So I hope that what we've talked about here has helped you, and please do think about visiting the Gift of Healing TV Facebook page, and I'm going to encourage our guests to keep a bit of an eye as well. Maybe make it the website. Do you know what? Make it the website. Go to giftofhealingtv.com. Under our replays, this is going to go under our group discussions, so our panel discussions. So please go onto that page of the replays and the YouTube videos. Put in comments, ask questions, and I will encourage. When I know that the questions come in, what I will do is I will make sure that both Jennifer and Vanessa receive the questions have come in, and they'll come back with answers for you as well. But also go to their websites. Their websites are being shared on the About Us page at the moment. They'll be up for the next week. From tomorrow morning, I will make sure that the YouTube video has got their websites under as well. So please do feel free to contact them. I know certain aspects of their work they can do via Skype video, so that they can, if you're in the UK, telephone, whatever. So I know there are some of the things they can do. I appreciate with the massage that's different, but our guests come on to support and help you, and so please do go and check out what they do. If you've got specific questions, ask them, because that's what we're here for. And we really would love you to feel that you can approach us, because as I said, that's what we're here for. We're here for you to approach us. We are human beings like you. We work with people. Some of us have experienced these things, and we realize how real it is. The one thing we're not saying is that it isn't real. We do know it's real. And so Mandy has said, attended a pain management clinic, and they told me in the end they couldn't help me, as they had tried everything. And Joe says, great discussion, Thank you, ladies. Very helpful and interesting. Mandy, thank you, everyone. And thank you for being with us. Any just final, I know we've just run over, any final comments from you both? But Vanessa, any final suggestions you'd like to make?
Absolutely. With Mandy, where they say that they couldn't help me as they've tried everything, there's always something else out there. You just keep looking, ask for it to come to you, and it will come. So don't give up hope is the bottom line here. Just have a little bit of faith that there is something out there that will help.
Brilliant. And Jennifer?
Yeah, I'd just like to add that the positive thinking and the positive mindset is actually very powerful. You know, your thoughts are a very powerful tool that you have within yourself to utilise. And also just to discuss it with friends and family about your diagnosis. They might not understand, they might not know how to help you or what to say to you. And in the UK, it's around 250,000 people who are affected by CFS. So if you know somebody who has had a diagnosis, or you have friends and family that you would like to with, you know, get them involved and make them aware, and analogy of a product, and you know, you can work forward with that. So good luck to everybody, and thank you very much for having us on today.
It's been a pleasure to have you both. Thank you for all that you've shared. I know we've had a few glitches with sound and with videos and whatever, but I hope people have got the gist of that. And Vanessa, I hope you're going to share that list, because that would be very useful for people. Patricia says, thank you, everyone. Much, you know, we're very happy to do that. And thank you to all of you. Mandy Payne, can I suggest you go? I've posted on the Gift of Healing TV website this week and a blog about the healing and the healing energy of sound. Under that, I have put a link to a YouTube video that I've done, which is sound energy for your physical body. I can't promise you anything, but sound can be phenomenal for aiding in the sorting out of pain. Try that video. It's there on the blog, the blog that's showing right at the moment at the top. Go into that blog, you'll find the videos listed there. Try it. You've got nothing to lose by trying it, and I hope that it helps you, because sound, as I said, sound energy is phenomenal, and it sounds what I do, but I just hope that for any of you that are experiencing sound, please go there. And even if you're watching this down the line, go and find that blog, and you'll find the links to those videos. Thank you, thank you, thank you to our guests and to all our viewers today who have joined in. And thank you for joining in, because you have made this program what it is by being here and by joining in. Mandy says, "Thank you, Vanessa. I will never stop looking." And and for all of you, I hope that something we have said here in this program really is of benefit to you, and sooner rather than later. So don't give up, folks. It's out there for you. Next week, we are being joined by Jill Matson and Music to Enlighten. And so I'm really looking forward to that. As I said, I work with sound energy, so I love sound of all sorts. So I'm really looking forward to this. And maybe for those of you who are affected by any form of condition that's debilitating, then please think about joining us. Energy of sound is absolutely amazing and just relaxing. Think about the music you like to listen to and how it makes you feel. Sometimes it invigorates you, sometimes it helps you to relax, depending on the music you listen to. So come and join us and see whether that helps any of you with the condition that we've been talking about tonight. Love, peace and light to you all. As I said, share, come to the website, share, ask questions. We'd love to hear from you. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. We hope we will see you again next week. Love and thank you to Vanessa and to Jennifer for being with us tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure, as always, with both of you. Love, peace and light, folks. Namaste.